friends. Today we are going to make a recipe called Strata. It is an egg casserole, and we are going to make one with tomatoes and basil, but you really can put any vegetables in it that you want. So we're going to start with 6 eggs. You need a couple big slices of bread, and if it's stale, that's perfect. You want it kind of old, a little on the dry side. I'm going to use little tomatoes and fresh basil, and then shredded cheese. The other things you need are a baking dish, some oil spray, salt and pepper. So the first thing you're going to do is spray your dish like that. Then you're going to break your bread up into pieces that are about this size and just set them in the bottom of your casserole dish. Mine is about an 8x8 square, but if you had a circle, that would work just fine. You could even use a baking dish that you bake brownies in. It's about the right size. I actually didn't end up using all that bread. It took about one and a half of these big slices. So I'm going to say about 2 cups of torn up bread. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is crack your eggs. And I'd like to give you a lesson on egg cracking. You want to hold the egg in your hand between your 2 fingers here, supporting it with this part of your hand and your thumb. Remember, you're cracking the egg into a separate bowl, so if any shells sneak out, you can just pick them out with your fingers. You're going to give it one nice crack on the side of the bowl. Crack. Then you'll take your thumbs. Both your thumbs are going inside the crack, and you open the door. And you let all of the egg white drip out. And when it's all gone, you put it in the compost. Let's try it one more time. Oh, let's get this out of here first. I have one little shell, so I'll take it out of there, take it out of my small bowl, pour that egg in. Now let's take another egg, do it again. We're holding it here between our fingers and supporting it with our hand and our thumb. And one nice big crack. Crack! And then you put your thumbs in the crack and you open the door. Oops. When it's all done, you put it in the compost. Once it's shell-free, you put it into the bowl. That way, if any shells sneak out with this egg, which one did? I've already gotten a clean egg into the big bowl. Okay, all 6 eggs are in the bowl, and now I'm going to whisk. You want to whisk until all of the yolks are broken and incorporated into the whites. Now you're going to pour into your beaten eggs 1.5 cups of milk. And then whisk that. Perfect. Our next ingredient are the little baby tomatoes. I like these cut in half for the recipe, so I recommend the adult cutting the tomatoes in half. They're hard to cut because they're hard for the children to cut because they're wobbly, but you could also put them in whole. So if the child chooses to, put them in whole. That would be fine. You're just cutting them, and putting them into your egg and milk mixture. Your next ingredient is fresh basil. I'm using about 3 big stems of basil. It would probably be about 1/4 of a cup if I were to chop it up, but I prefer not to chop it up. I like to just tear it and put it in with the eggs and the milk and the tomatoes. So this is really nice work for the child to do. Excuse me. So all of the basil and all of the tomatoes are now in with the milk and the eggs, and now we are going to add 1 cup of cheese. And then I have my fork. I'm not using my whisk anymore because I think once the cheese goes in, it's really more a job for the fork. So the fork is blending it all together. Now I am just going to pour it on top of the bread. Make sure I get all that yummy cheese. So it's really a lot like a savory bread pudding, because you have your custard with your milk and eggs, and you pour it on top of that bread with your vegetables. Okay, now I'm going to take my pink Himalayan sea salt and give a couple nice cranks on top, and then a little fresh black pepper. Crank that on top. And I'm going to put it in a 400-degree oven for 35 minutes. Oh, my friends, look at how gorgeous this is. So this took about 35 minutes. It is going to want to sit at room temperature for at least 20 minutes. If you can give it 30 minutes, it'll be even better. And then slice it up. The great thing about this is you can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's really any time of day you can eat the strata. I hope you love it. Thanks for cooking with me.